start out with Discover Mokena Maker Faire. Jason Margalus. I don't see you all summer. I think I've seen you now 3 or 4 times in the last week.
Got some sunglasses up here.
I think that was from last month.
Hi, everybody. Yeah,
how you doing, Jay?
I'm okay. So I've introduced myself to you guys a couple times, but I suppose it's probably good if I do that real quick, too. I'm Jay Margalus. I run the local hackerspace Space Lab in downtown Mokena. I also co-manage Chicago Southland Maker Faire, is what it's called now, actually, with trustee Jim Richmond and Tim Ozinga. And I am a professor in the School of Design at DePaul University, where I teach things like designing for physical technology and all sorts of other stuff. I'm here today to talk to you about Chicago Southland Mini Maker Faire, obviously, and more broadly the growing maker movement in the south suburbs. Real quick, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit of story, kind of some of the things that we do at Space Lab. This weekend, we traveled down to Dwight, Illinois, where we launched a weather balloon into the stratosphere 90,000 feet up to take video footage of near space. We then were able to locate the balloon and track it down, retrieve it, compile the video, etc. And the reason I wanted to tell that story, I think, is because if you think of all the things that are involved in an endeavor like that, the complex math that we had to do to the point where we were actually able to watch the payload float back down to Earth. The work that we had to do to make sure that the payload was heated appropriately because it gets cold up in the stratosphere. All of these skills are incredibly important, and skills that aren't just geeky skills, right? These are skills that astronauts have had to use in the late 50s, early 60s when the Air Force was doing its near space weather balloon programs. So when Space Lab first started 3 years ago, we used the phrase "a gym for geeks" to explain what we do. But the thing is that most of our members don't consider themselves geeks. We have members who are brain surgeons, mechanical engineers, librarians, people from all walks of life. And it's important to note this, I think at least, because it explains in a very great way what a makerspace is and what a maker faire is. And we're talking about Maker Faire here today, of course. At Space Lab, we don't believe what we do is geeky or even new or different. We build new car parts and quadricopters, and we tinker with augmented reality, and yes, we even send things into space. Eccentric, probably. Geeky, I don't know. Making is a part of a long history of American inventors and job creators, though. Making is not just for geeks. It's an American endeavor, and indeed a human one. It's exploring, seeking understanding, and creating. Taking ownership of the things around us rather than being solely consumers, right? Making is demystifying the otherwise mystical. How does a computer work? How do you send something to near space? How can we build the next generation of autonomous robots and vehicles? Think of inventors who ask themselves similar questions. Questions like, how does the future look if everybody has a computer in their home? Or how can we even send a man to the moon, right? I believe very strongly that this spirit defines the Chicago Southland, and that's why Maker Faire is here in Mokena. This year at our Maker Faire, in addition to exhibits like our augmented reality sandboxes, 3D printers, CNC mills, drones, drawbots, race carts, we'll be showing our recent near space balloon launch. We'll be talking about crafts made by local artists and showing some of those as well. We'll be highlighting many new Chicago games, and yes, really this time, we will have a trebuchet that we've already built at Space Lab.
John's going to use that.
Now we need a castle.
We'll get there. We hope that this inspires other residents of Mokena and people all over to begin to take ownership of the things around them, to ask how things we use work, to understand the world around us, and in doing that, build for the future. We can all be creators. Okay, so now here's the pitch. Chicago Southland Mini Maker Faire is on Saturday, August 27th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Pipefitters Local 597 training facility right here in Mokena, Illinois. Tickets are $4 online at southlandmakerfaire.com and free for everybody 18 and under. They're $5 on site. It's just to cover all the fees that we have to pay for all the stuff that we're doing. We're not looking to make a buck or anything like that. We're sponsored by Ozinga and Space Lab, and of course the Pipefitters, who have been gracious to host us back at their location. And you'll come and see all sorts of makers, artists, designers, educators, and more as they showcase their current work. That's all I've got.
Very good.
Jay, thank you for all the work you and the committee has been putting into this. You and Jim, I know how passionate all you guys, and Tim Ozinga and yourself, and I've known you for 3 years, and you're very passionate about this. You've tried to help educate kids at the schools. You've offered your services to the schools, the libraries, and I want to thank all of you guys for doing that for the community.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Jay,